Hey, thanks for coming on this week's podcast. This week, we're going to talk about Facebook advertising for your insurance agency. More than just Facebook advertising, pay Facebook advertising. This means boosting, doing pay ads that you're running for weeks, maybe months. And we're going to talk about why you might not be getting any results. So, let me just start off and introduce myself. My name's Ken French. I think it's important you understand that I kind of grew up in the insurance industry. My grandfather was in it, my father was in it. I got in it in the late 90s. We used to have a family owned business that was kind of like an FMO, a wholesaler. We worked with independent insurance agents who sold employee benefits, Medicare, life, health. We didn't sell insurance, but we helped those agents get contracted and sell those products. Long story short, we ended up selling that business right before healthcare reform in 2009. And at that point, I was already building websites and helping our agents with social media. So I started my own company called Snoozy Incorporated to kind of keep doing that professionally. And I've been doing it ever since. And basically, we help agents build their own sites, post on social media if they don't have enough time, and in general, help agents obviously increase retention and generate referrals. So let's talk about why you're struggling with doing Facebook advertising. And, usually it boils down to three key sections, three key problems. One, the way you've set up your ad, the way it looks, and the behind the scenes logistics of it, there's a problem there. Two, when people are seeing the ad, they're background checking you just to make sure you're legit and you got a poor online presence, and that's affecting your results. Or three, they're looking at your Facebook business page that you're doing the ad from, and that isn't set up correctly, and that's scaring them away. So let's talk about all three in a little bit more detail. Obviously, when you go in and you click that boost button next to a post that you've done, Facebook then is going to give you some very specific setup choices. And I've done some videos in the past where I go through those things. I think the most important thing to consider when you set up these ads is the target market section. And where a lot of agents go wrong is they think, okay, I want the target market to be really big, millions of people. Whereas I'm telling you, it's the exact opposite. You want the target market to be as niche oriented as possible because really, the way you get a ton of leads is you get your ad viewed repeatedly. People will see your ad two, three, four, five times. So, two kind of quick tips there. When you're setting up the ad, I always suggest that you go with a longer duration. I had a gentleman the other day. He said, look, one of the carriers gave me $500 for advertising. I want to set up an ad that runs just for this week, and I want to spend all $500. And I said, no, that's a bad idea. You want to run the ad for 4 to 8 weeks and spend the same $500. And you want to make sure your target market is very small so that over those 4 to 8 weeks, a lot of these people are going to see your ad two, three, four, five times. And usually it takes them 3 or 4 times before they bite and click and convert. So that's usually a big problem is number one, I see agents, instead of doing, let's say, a zip code or a county, they want to do the whole state or they want to do the whole country. Try to keep it targeted to a local area, 20 miles around your office, a few zip codes, a county. That immediately will limit things down. Two, try to figure out the right age and demographic. You really want your target audience to be 150,000 or less. And you'll see that within Facebook. When you set up your parameters, it'll tell you what the target audience is. If you choose the entire United States, you'll see it's 350 million. That's no good. That's a disaster. So keep it targeted. Number two, when you set up your ad, try to keep it short and sweet. 2 to 3 sentences tops. If you're doing a Medicare ad, just something like, hey, you turning 65 soon? Confused about your options? Request a consultation. You don't need to have a paragraph or two about all this stuff you're offering, mainly because people aren't going to read it. So keep the ad short and sweet. Number three, make sure you use a really good image, or if you've created a video, make sure it's quality. Most people, that's what's going to draw them in. So you want to make sure that it's a relevant image. If you're doing an advertisement for ACA health insurance, it probably should have ACA health insurance written in the image so people put one and one together. The other thing you want to make sure you do some trial and error on is the call to action. And when you initially go into Facebook, Facebook's going to say, what kind of call to action do you want? Do you want people to fill out a Facebook form? Do you want people to message you? Do you want to send people to your website to fill out a form? What do you want to do for the call to action? And there is no right or wrong answer. I've seen personally that when people are doing life and health ads, it does seem to work pretty good with the Facebook fillable form. I've seen the Medicare ads work a little bit better with the online messaging. But my point is you need to be aware that there's options, and you need to be aware that you might need to do some testing before you spend a tremendous amount of money. So just keep that in mind. The actual call to action, the actual way you're generating the lead can have a big impact on what you're doing. Number two, you need to be aware that people are not going to just bite like a fish and take your hook. They are going to do a little bit of diligence when they see your ad. Most people are going to Google you. They're going to Google the name of your company. You need to have a web presence to show them that you're legit, especially in the insurance industry with so many people kind of coming and going. The thing I always tell my clients is you're not the only person trying to do a Facebook ad. Fact is, you can't even comprehend how many people are doing it. There's that many. So when people are seeing your ad, they might be seeing other people's ads as well, maybe even your own local competitors. So this becomes kind of a comparison situation. You need to have some basis. You need to show them that you have a well-run organization that's worth potentially working with. So you got to have a website. It's about to be 2023. If you don't have a website, don't even waste your money with the Facebook ads. It's a must. It's a requirement. On that website, it can't just have, your phone number. You need to tell them who you are, why they should work with you. Really should have client testimonials that review the success of working with you. You should review what services you offer. If you have any personalized shopping links, let them, go in and play around. If you have a calendar service, let them schedule a meeting with you. These things are pretty standard at this point in time. You also should really have a LinkedIn page. If somebody goes into Google and they throw your name in, Karen Schmidt, we want your LinkedIn profile to come up. We want there to be a picture on there. We want there to be a good summary that says, hey, I'm Karen. I specialize in, health, life, auto, home, and Medicare. This is why you want to work with me. You want to show that you're a legit, company. And I think there's a lot of independent agents out there who just get started. They get sold that they need to do pay advertising to get leads, and they've put no thought into the consumer and how the consumer is going to react. So obviously having a web presence, very important when you're about to spend money trying to do advertising. And then thirdly, don't forget about your actual Facebook business page. And, one of the things that I know for a fact, I've seen the analytics. When people see your ad, they're going to click on your Facebook business page and they're going to look at it. So they're going to see what your page looks like. They're going to see how many people you have following you. They're going to see your daily posting and what you're saying. And you would be surprised how many insurance agents, they create a Facebook business page on Monday, and by Tuesday, they're doing ads. And the Facebook business page has no followers. It has no content. It has no logo. It looks like a total scam. And most of these consumers out there, they're being warned about these things. Look for anything that sticks out. So what I suggest is if you're very new to Facebook, you got to put a little time in before you start doing ads. You need to have the business page set up. It's got to have a good background image. It's got to have your logo or your picture. You have to have some good educational content posted to the page on a consistent basis. And that doesn't mean you do it all in one day. That means every maybe 3 or 4 days a week, you got to be on there throwing an educational tip or a little overview or something that shows you're the expert and you're worth working with. And then, of course, you also have to work on getting people following your page. Wouldn't it seem strange if you clicked on an ad where this ad is saying you're the greatest of the greatest, and somebody goes to the page and you got 2 people following the page? Anybody who's an avid Facebook user, that would immediately be like, forget this. This is scary. So these things add up, and I know for a fact they do. Um, so make sure your page is set up. Make sure you're posting consistently. And when you're doing posts, make sure the posts are relevant to what you're advertising. If you're trying to target people for ACA and Medicare, have ACA and Medicare educational posts on there. Now people start to see, oh, look, every day for the last month, this company is offering educational tips. They're clearly the experts. So I can't stress enough that when you do these ads, yeah, you're spending money. You want results. I get it. But you have to make sure you have these foundational things in place, to increase the potential for the results you're going to get. So I look forward to talking next week with our podcast. I appreciate you coming on today. You can certainly learn a little bit more about our insurance agent web and social media services at snoozy.com. And I'd be happy to chat with anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about what we do. Thanks again and have a great week.